Conversation with the panelists. I'm holding court this evening with Cheruiyot, the Senator of Cheruiyot. Also, we have Senator Okong'o, a Senator of Nyamira. We have Professor Eric Aseka, who is a Professor of Leadership and Governance at the African International University, and Jacoyo Mediro, the former Member of Parliament for UGEM. Gentlemen, we've seen the news and we know what really happened today. We'll play the cartoon later, but now let's just get to the meat of the matter, because we need to drill deeper and also try and see where is our political tone and tenor in this country headed. We've seen expletives from leaders, we've seen what is happening in barriers as well, and the needle is moving to a very dangerous zone as far as, you know, the climate of politics in the country is concerned. But all this also is leading to what happened today when Senator Irungu Kangata had that particular letter that people are also saying it was not really conveyed in the best and the wisest of fashion to the president as well. We can just begin with you, Senator Cheruiyot. Did this really come from the left side, or this was expected today?
First of all, I've seen media erroneously report that Irungu Kangata has been removed as whip of majority side of the Senate. That's inaccurate, because that's a proposal by Tuju. That's what he came to tell us today, that Irungu Kangata has lost the confidence of the party leader. But we reminded him that in a presidential system, in the democratic system of governance, there is no room for such monkey games, if I may call them so. Because parliamentary leadership, you serve at the pleasure of the members, not at the pleasure of the party leader. That's number one. Number two, in that room, every single person that spoke, and I say this because I was there, from what you would refer to as Tanga Tanga and Kieleweke side, they all disagreed with Tuju on the proposed motion that he had brought before us. And that is why, as of this afternoon when we were in the Senate, they did not bring the communication, because they are still struggling to raise the numbers. Of course, understanding how things work, because we have the experience of what, say, happened to Duale, what happened to Murkomen and Susan Kihika. The speakers may not even issue a communication on who are the members that supposedly signed this Oster motion. So in a proper country, you remember earlier I spoke about the declining prospects of rule of law and order in our country. The speaker is supposed to have communicated and said, I have received this information as per our Senate standing orders. Majority of the membership of that political party or coalition of parties are supposed to sign and say, we have lost the confidence of our majority leader or whip or whatsoever. I can confidently tell you that of the 36 members of Senate that Jubilee has, not more than 15 would sign that proposal. And therefore, even if they went ahead and asked Speaker Lusaka to do the usual, as he did with Murkomen and Susan Kihika, and therefore endorse the illegal ouster of Irungu Kangata, then we can confirm and say that he has been ousted. But as things stand, Irungu Kangata, even tonight, still goes to bed as a whip of the majority side of the Senate. I don't know about tomorrow, because we are not a country that is governed by rule of law. Otherwise, it would have been an impossible task to achieve what Tuju came to propose in our parliamentary group meeting today. And it's really unfortunate, because it's what I was speaking about earlier, that there is a small group around the president that erroneously have led him to believe that he is the party and the party is him. That anybody who holds a contrary view to how he does his things and whatever he's proposing is his enemy, and not somebody who wishes him success and for the achievement and for the betterment of the people that put this particular administration in power. That is quite unfortunate, because that wasn't the design of our constitution, and there is no reading whatsoever of our constitution or statute or even parliamentary standing orders that give that kind of understanding, that you serve at the pleasure of our party leader. That only can be said of appointive positions, say like cabinet secretaries, but not positions of leadership.
Thank you. But for your assessment, do you think he acted in the wisest of fashion, Irungu Kangata, in conveying this particular letter? Because this is what Tuju says, that first of all, he was invited to a meeting and asked to apologize, but he declined. Secondly, he said that the senator declined to attend a parliamentary leadership meeting. You also say that Kangata made public matters they discussed in closed doors meetings, so there was a breach of confidence as well.
I have asked Kangata about this infamous meeting, and he said it isn't an apology they wanted from him. They wanted him to denounce the letter that he wrote. And he said, I can't do it because it's the truth of the people that I represent, and that's a challenge. You must remember, Dibal, that the work of a member of parliament is to oversight, legislate, and represent people. So they were asking him to denounce his constitutional responsibility of speaking on behalf of the people he represents and how they feel about BBI. Okay,
let's hear from Okong'o, because what we can hear from Cheruiyot is the fact that parties are not really institutions, but they are personality-based. It is predicated on my philosophy as Raila Odinga or Uhuru Kenyatta as far as that is concerned. So the personality and the parties, how do we uncouple that? And we have institution as a party, where we're really talking about parties with, ideologues and ideologies. There is no ideology valve in any party that we do know right now. It is just a shell.
First, I think this places some of us in a very awkward position because here is a ruling party, that is running the government of the country. A party official comes and goes on air and says they met as a parliamentary group. They made a decision to de-whip their whip, and a press release is sent to the media. Then, believe it or not, Dibal, here we have an honorable member of the Senate who comes here and again is on national television, and he tells the country that our whip till this evening is one Irungu Kangata. Now, what do you want our children to grow up doing? How do you impact?
But he says that we've not had any official pronouncement from the speaker, right?
No,
I mean, it has to go through the process as well.
We have a communication that was released by Tuju, who I believe is an official of Jubilee party.
But Tuju does not appoint...
And that was conveying a decision of the parliamentary group of Jubilee, Senate Jubilee parliamentary group. So what am I saying? That the message that we are sending out there is very untidy, Debal, because there are people who are watching how we are doing things. How do you expect even school children having a meeting with the principal, coming out and the principal makes an announcement and the head boy goes to the other side and he says that did not happen? It is very, very untidy. You trace back and ask yourself, how was Irungu Kangata appointed as whip? It was a meeting that took place in State House. We were not there, but Jubilee retreated to State House. They held a meeting. I don't know how the communication eventually reached the Speaker of the Senate, but the whip who was there was removed, and Irungu Kangata was installed as a whip. And this happened just the other year. That was last year. So I think, Dibal, we need to be very honest and display some sense of responsibility to Kenyans. It's unfortunate that, what we are seeing is like Jubilee is burning. Jubilee is burning. But even as you burn the party, really there are some things you need to do in a very decent way. But coming back to how we run parties, other than the doubt that is being cast by Senator Cheruiyot, and I can't say he's wrong or right because he's the one who was there. I think a party has a right to de-whip a member. I think Jacoyo here has served as a whip of a party. And if you are a whip of a party, you are supposed to whip members to advance the agenda of that particular party. If a party loses confidence in you, you have two options. Either you resign and say you don't agree with the policies or the ideals that are being pushed by that party, and you quit. Or the party, and I think I like the word loss of confidence. If the party has lost confidence in you, then it has to de-whip you. That's what happens all over the world. Even in America, the whip of the Democratic Party must push the agenda of the Democrats in the House. If you are not able to achieve that, then you have no business being the whip. So unless they didn't follow, they know their constitution, unless they are telling us that procedure was not followed, and I can only sympathize with the party myself. De-whipping somebody, you cannot say that is a breakdown of rule of law. That's what a party should do. If you have a leader whom you have lost confidence in, then you follow the party structures and remove that member from office and replace him with one who enjoys the confidence of the party. That's what democracy is all about. Yeah.
Right, but they normally say democracy is a mirage as well. So when you're trying to reach it, it also eludes you as well. Professor, your take on today's development as far as Irungu Kangata is concerned?
My observation of this starts a little bit further down the lane, because what I see is a clear case of what I can call political impropriety. And there are a number of things that one can say regarding this, because what was displayed by the whip is not appropriate conduct that reflects what the Frenchmen would call politesse, which is a refined way of doing things. And so that shows lack of political acumen for timeliness, for using the right forum, and of course using the right language. So what I see in this was a semblance of carelessness in handling classified information. I recall in the early 90s, I was an activist for Kano.
Yes.
And we were behind the setting up of YK in '92. And there are 3 instances when I wrote to President Moi. And whatever I wrote to President Moi was never found in the public fora to embarrass President Moi. So as far as I'm concerned, that careless handling of information that should have been channeled in the right manner, not causing public embarrassment to President Uhuru, was a kind of ridicule to the president. It did not show respect. Rather, it undermined his leadership in a way. So that is an observation that I can make. Things are not done that way by mature political leaders who have a proper political acumen about how they should do things. Lastly, Senator has talked about a decline of rule of law. And indeed, we can see very clearly in the country that we are drifting into a kind of disorder. And this reminds me of a very powerful book written by Dalloz and Chabal called Africa Works. And the thesis there is the instrumentalization of disorder. And I can see really whatever was done was verging on that, trying to make political capital out of a growing disorder. That is my take.
All right, and it seems also this, it could have been very deliberate that Irungu Kangata chose to convey this particular letter the way he did to spark debate. Yes. And he knew maybe looking at the political environment that I am in, maybe I need to take this particular action so that I may have this reaction that we're having currently. So people are talking about him. Now he's also, as Aaron quite or rightly denies, that he's not been ousted as well. We want to take a short break. When we come back, we just hear also from Jakoyo and gravitate to other matters as well, as far also the impeachment notion is concerned. People are talking about it. It's stripping off the tongue of every other person led by Savula as well. So we'll hear from that as well momentarily. Don't go away.